want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Akakwadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles, a great millstone for pushing this truth. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai. For us going through what we go through now, so that we can endure the days to come. Because they're not ready. But what we going through is to know that it will only get worse than this, and it will only get worse for this for them. Alright? Especially Esau, Edom. But I was thinking about Eve. The women's supposed to be watching my daughters, but then mistreating my daughter because it can't finesse me out of my money or have sex with me. I ain't been having sex with it, like, nah, Slim, we ain't getting none of this. Like, nah, like, we not doing none of that. So, because there's been no angle to come at me and break me down, now they, getting petty to the point to where not doing their job as a sitter, or even as someone who calls yourself wanting to sleep with me or be with me. How is you going to turn me on when you're not, when my daughter's not happy around you? Ecclesiasticus chapter 25, verse 19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Right? Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. All right, now, a sinner is going to get involved with a wicked woman. For instance, this is not the time to be like, if you got something going on, hold on to it as far as like income come, but this isn't the time to be like really stressing delis or anything like that. And things like that. I guess there's judgment for even entertaining such things, as Yahweh Shai said. Drop everything and follow me. All right. Now, call on me, Yahweh Shai, because we have to be following to even be able to hear. Right? To even be able to hear Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, you have to be a follower. As it is written, be ye a follower of me, even as I'm a follower of the Mashiach, the only Mashiach, Yahweh Shai. So, the second book of Samuel, chapter 8, verse 13. And David gat him a name when he returned from smiting of the Syrians in the valley of Sort. Okay, so David made a name for himself after he overcame the Syrians in the valley of Sort, being 18,000 men. All right. So the house of David, which is being built now, those spirits are back on the earth. Verse 14, and he put garrisons in Edom. Throughout all Edom put he garrisons, and all they of Edom became David's servants. And the Lord preserved David whithersoever he went. And David reigned over all Yasha'Allah, and David executed judgment and justice unto all his people. And that's why it's not good to have another man from another nation ruling over you. Now,
you need to be getting out of these areas right now. Something big is happening, and they are even admitting in mainstream news that poisonous toxic chemicals, VOCs, volatile organic compounds, a little hard to say there, are now raining down from the sky on over 127 million people. All right, this is what is being reported out of mainstream news, and they are reporting a code red emergency situation, and they are sending out alerts all over the country for people to stay inside and to not breathe this toxic chemical air. All right, so big things are going on right now. This is covering multiple states, over 127 million people, and they're saying toxic chemicals like formaldehyde and benzene, which we know what formaldehyde does, and benzene is known to cause cancer as well. They're saying these VOCs are forming as a result of what's going on, and it's forming in the atmosphere from the sunlight hitting it. Apparently that's what mainstream news is reporting, and they're even putting out some very strange articles like, why does the air smell like plastic? Why does it smell strange in this area? And that's the excuse they are giving. So we're going to break down all this stuff. We have multiple states under health emergencies right now, and this is why you need to have some kind of air filtration. All right, you should be looking into HEPA filters that you can put into your home's AC system that are very low micron and filter out most of these VOCs, okay? Because a lot of these are very small particles and they can just pass through your normal air filters. All right, so make sure you have a high quality air filter right now, and if you can, have some kind of carbon.
None of that stuff is going to be able to save you. None of that stuff is going to save you. All right, the book of Job, chapter 13, verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies. All right, ye are all physicians of no value. Okay, so there's no way that these little filters and all that stuff is not going to save them. It's not going to help them. And then they're already talking about his chemical plastics. Okay, let's look. Why does the air in West Virginia smell like plastic 10 hours ago? Why does the wildfire smoke sometimes smell like burning plastic? The New York Times. Smoke causes closing cancellations in Northeast Ohio. Why does the wildfire smoke in northern Michigan smell like burning plastic? This is yesterday. The Weather Network. Smelling plastic. Millions are in the path of toxic smoke fumes. One day ago, there's a reason you might smell burning plastic in the wildfire smoke. So Esau pretty much warns 3 days ago. Canadian wildfire smoke returns to Midwest. Chicago air hazard. Possible Monday night. Here's why Cleveland air smells like it's burning today. And that was yesterday. The smoke from the wildfires is composed of volatile organic compounds that interact with the sun's UV rays. The interaction creates two other compounds, benzene and formaldehyde. And this isn't what would you call it, general information, like making oatmeal. All right, or how to bite the apple. Or how to, peel a banana. So people read this and be like, okay. Right, but they're forgers of lies, physicians of no values. The book of Job, chapter 13, verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value.
Backing to that filter as well, they have like carbon filter layers that you can put behind your filter, or they have ones that are just all together. It's like a carbon layer, a HEPA filter layer. And it's very low micron. So you can, some of these mountains around me, that's how much snow there was.
The first book of Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 50. Now, Jerusalem is the mother of us all. So we can look at this for what we're about to go through. As Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai speaking to us in today's time, because we're reading about this account Yahweh Shem speaking to us from our mother's point of view, Jerusalem. All right. To not fear death, for we will live again. All right. The first book of Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 50. Now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. All right. And for the record, this was a mother actually talking to her sons. All right. But when it's all said and done, matter of fact, this is a father, Salaki. This is a father talking to his sons. But when it's all said and done, Jerusalem is the mother of us all. Alright, and our Heavenly Father is Yahweh. So now therefore, my sons, be ye zealous for the law, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So shall ye receive great honor and an everlasting name. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness? Thankfully, we do have father figures to look up to. All right. And I'm talking about in the scriptures. And verse 52, was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness? Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment and was made Lord of Egypt. I ain't talking about sexual morality, plus all other commandments, but that was his biggest temptation. All right, and with Abraham, he was talking about the sacrifice, being willing to make a sacrifice. Verse 54, Phinehas, our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. Yahushua, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel. Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land. Now, the letter J, it was only 500 years old, so I just couldn't help but to say Yahushua. Verse 57, David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom. Elias, for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up into heaven. Ananias, Azariah, Misael, by believing, was saved out of the flame. Talking about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I know I butchered the names. All right. So David was merciful. Let's talk about that. He obtained the kingdom.
When it's almost July here, and there's over 500, and that's even more north in Canada. That's way more north than I'm here, where these fires are happening. And this is not the season for wildfires. It's normally later in the year. It's normally in fall, like August, September, October, where the leaves are falling off, they're getting crunchy, drying out, rain's drying up. And that's when we normally see these wildfires, much less 500 of them. So something big is going on. And they're even saying in mainstream news articles, because people are talking about this all over social media, how the wildfire smells like plastic. It just smells very strange. And this is a mainstream news article saying, why does the wildfire smoke in northern Michigan smell like burning plastic? Okay, why does it smell like burning plastic? And a Michigan official came out from the Michigan Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy Department. They said wood fires can emit a lot of volatile organic compounds, VOCs. Most of the VOCs are noticeable to our noses as a familiar campfire smell, but they break down quickly when exposed to UV radiation from sunlight. Other VOCs like benzene, formaldehyde, and acrolein are also released, and they outlast the campfire VOCs. It's these chemical compounds that you're smelling as the smoke wafts around for days and settles to the ground and reaches your noses. All right, so that's what they're saying. That's the official narrative coming out of Michigan. A top official saying that we could have formaldehyde, benzene, and acrolein raining down from the sky right now. So this is something that we need to be prepared for. We've seen wildfires all over the country before, but this is new to this region. We've never seen this much smoke hitting this area, and a lot of people never have experienced things like this. And I've experienced wildfires before. I was in southern Colorado in a pretty small village down there last year, at the beginning of last year, when they were having these wildfires. I think it's the Angel Fire, and this was in New Mexico. All right, and it was blowing smoke into our village constantly for weeks. It was bad. There was times where I was like, is this fire like right here? Just checking the fire maps all the time. This was going on early last year for me in southern Colorado, and there was never a time where I'm thinking it smells like chemicals. So this definitely could be a thing. This definitely is a real reaction, but it's very suspicious, and people are warning and saying that they are even feeling sick from this, and they're not feeling okay. They're feeling lightheaded if they go outside. But
The book of Micah chapter 5 verse 12. And I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. Alright, you're not going to be able to keep pulling this wildfire stuff, Esau. Alright, wildfire season hasn't even started yet. Alright, you're not going to be able to keep pulling off of these YouTube reporters. Alright, you're not going to be able to keep pulling off these news broadcasting companies, finessing the people. And you're not going to be able to keep pulling off these stupid ass Black Hebrew Israelite thing that you got going on. Alright, that you're running. Alright, none of that stuff is gonna work. Only thing that's gonna work is the words in these books, and that is the spirit of prophecy. Only thing that's gonna work is Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And he works by putting all spirits to work. Okay, so you're doing what you're supposed to do, Esau. Alright, Micah 5 and 13, thy graven images also will I cut off. Who? Jesus is being cast down. And thy standing images out of the midst of thee. Who? Jesus, the Baphomet, the all this weird stuff going on, man. And thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands. Right? You're going to have no more glory in your hands. Right? It's about to be cast down. Now, the book of Micah chapter 2 verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Alright, woe means death and destruction. Alright, so Esau Edom devises iniquity, and so does the so-called black woman. Alright, so does so-called baby mothers. So does so-called just American culture. Alright, so it's death and destruction coming for everybody in America because of the iniquity that they've piled upon sin. Okay? Let's see. You want some more? You want to eat some more? All right, I don't care. You gotta wait to tell me. All right? If it's that bad, you call your mom and tell your mom. Other than that, you wait to tell me. I'm doing something. The book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord. Okay, so this goes for men, women, everybody that says that they a child of God. Okay, especially the black woman. They swear they're a child of God. They ain't shit. But somebody that's about to get trodden down in the streets. Okay? There's a Micah 2 and that's Maya. Micah 7 and 10. Let's see. The book of Micah chapter 7 verse 10. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it. Now who is the enemy? The woman that wants to be mean to your children. Okay? The woman that doesn't want you to talk about Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. The woman that thinks that she can destroy you, move on with her life and still be happy. Okay? She is your enemy. Okay? The book of Micah chapter 7 verse 10. Then she that is my enemy shall see it. She'll see what? She'll see the angels in the sky, but she won't understand it. Okay? She's going to see the death and destruction. She's going to see everything that you said happen. She's going to see no food. She's going to see no lights. She's going to see no water. She's going to see no money. She's going to see the money fall. Okay? She's going to see people breaking into her house, raping her, killing her, taking the children from her. Okay, that's what she's going to see. People beating her up for food. The women going to have to fight for their life. They're going to think that they're going to let people have their way with them and let them live, but it's not going to work like that. After they have their way with you, they're going to sell you, all right, for a piece of bread. All right, the book of Micah, chapter 7, verse 10, then she that is my enemy shall see it. Shall see what? All of the prophecies coming to pass. And shame shall cover her which said unto me, where is the Lord thy God? Why? Because she thought God wasn't with you. She thought God was with her and her little dumbass kids. But God is not with her and her dumbass kids. God is with the ones who call on him. All right? My eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down. What? Yes, trodden down. What? Beat down as the mire of the streets. What is mire? Doo-doo. Okay, so these women are going to get beat down like a piece of doo-doo in the street. Thus says the Holy Bible. Okay? Mire. Oh, mire. It's not doo-doo. A stretch of swampy or boggy ground. Okay? A situation or state of difficulty, distress, or embarrassment from which it's hard to extricate. Swamp, mud. All right. So she's going to be trodden down like a piece of mud. Okay, so that's what's going to happen to everybody that's mean to us. They're going to die a horrible death. All right, now, the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with their covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Okay? So they add sin to sin, thinking that they're going to get away with it, but not knowing that that's why they're having all of these pains in their body. That's why everything's going wrong with them. That's why nobody loves them. That's why everybody tries to use them. But see, when I say everybody tries to use them, I mean the people that's in their life, that they think cares about them, the people that they call and trust on, don't love them. All right? The only ones that love them is the children of God, the children that love Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Yeah, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me, but not when I'm recording. You can call your mom if you have to. You want to tell somebody right now, call your mom. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I got her number.
It's in the tablet. So yeah, I ain't worried. There's a lot of mold in the it was like a deep freezer down in the basement. And it's like a lot of mold in there. It looks like something out of the Ghostbuster movie that they was trying to kill Slimer with or something, I don't know. But it's like all on the walls. And the landlord refused to get it clean. So I already know that's a lawsuit. Like you leaving that mold in there, and then you rent it out with that mold, and then you rent it out, and you been renting it out, all that stuff was never clean. That's just a lawsuit. So I'm just about to sue this motherfucker and just keep it moving. But and I don't even really care about that. It's just the fact that when it's all said and done, need to be, flip back open to First Maccabees 2 and 51. We need to be calling to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So shall ye receive great honor in an everlasting name. And our fathers didn't, that received great honor in the everlasting name, didn't put up with this BS, with dumb stuff. See right here? Look at that. That's the message. That's the number. You take it in the bathroom or the hallway or wherever. You want to feel wrong. Yeah, all right. So, it's certain things that they just didn't deal with. Now, there was plenty of times when our forefathers, even Yahweh Shai, to use guile. And there's nothing wrong with that. And doing all things as a soldier, as far as like, it's judgment, it's punishment, and it's a learning experience as well to, help the new people coming in. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and like me, that might not experience certain things in year 1 and you experience in year 4, and what is it? It's a lot of videos and clips to show. That's why I'm not really sure where to begin. But when it's all said and done, it's no way out of where we're at. All right. The book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 1. My son or daughter, if thou come to serve Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure. Okay, and you do that by meditating on the scriptures, learning more scriptures. And make not haste in time of trouble. So when something, only time it really feels like time of trouble is when the flesh is involved most of the time. The spirit only feels like it's in trouble, when it comes to transgressing the law. Alright, so make not haste in time of trouble. Alright, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Alright. So whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. They making me feel like I'm reading something crazy. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Right. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Okay, so we have to trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. We have to believe in him, and he will help us. Right. We got to remember that gold is tried in the fire. And if it wasn't acceptable, we wouldn't be faced with certain adversities to test the spirit and build us up in the spirit for the next mission, the next challenge, the next level, and to be able to, talk about it all from experience instead of just hindsight or insight or, Verse 6, believe in him and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy and go not aside, lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. And what is the reward? Salvation. Okay, he that endure to the end, the same shall be saved. So you have to wait for his mercy. Okay, that means that we're not always going to receive the mercy. We're not always going to have mercy. We might have to wait for the mercy. Or we might just get the judgment and be done with. And then the mercy is that it's done with. So either way, we have to wait for the mercy. And go not aside, lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fall, shall not fail. And ye that fear the Lord, Yahweh, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy, which are the promises. Everlasting joy and mercy is the promises. And the hope for good is the hope for the destruction of Babylon the Great. Now, let's see.
The worst disruption in the wheat harvest in over a decade, folks. We got big news coming out of China, and this is not information that they really want to make known. They do not give out numbers. Any numbers that they do come out with are lies. But I need you to understand how big of an impact droughts and flooding are in the nation of China to the world's food supply. Did you know that China is the largest supplier of wheat in the world? They produce more wheat than any other country in the world. Rice. They produce more rice than any other nation in the world. We're talking big numbers. They're number 2 in production of corn of any nation in the world. Now, they're not big exporters of this stuff because they just eat all of it, you know. They export maybe a little bit, or actually, usually they still have to import more than what they produce. They have a tremendous amount of population, and it is hard for them to keep up with food production. But when they have a failure of their harvest, that means they're going to have to import a whole heck of a lot more food.
The book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. Right? This is prophecy against Esau, Edom. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. Right? So Esau is about to get starved out. And that goes for Jacob and his mama too. And it goes for my mama. Right. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The border of what? The border of war. The border of starvation. Right. The border of the charagma. The collapse of the dollar. Right. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, said the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end, that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. Now, what is the mount? What is the mount? Translate. Climb up stairs, a hill or other rising surface. Organize and initiate a campaign or other significant course of action. A backing or setting on which a photograph, gem, or work of art is set for display. A support for a gun, camera, or similar piece of equipment. So either way, the hill, the mount of Esau, the top of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother, which are the 12 tribes of Israel, Jacob shall cover thee. For the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And the day that thou stoodest on the other side, and the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them. I love these people so much. I just don't think a lot of these black girls is Edomites, yo. Slave master was popping a lot of these women are Edomites, man.
And when we start looking at these numbers here, you're going to see how big of an impact this is going to be, because we're hearing some truly devastating news coming out of China. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and we cover on this channel news items that the mainstream media doesn't usually cover. They want to tell you how wonderful everything is or how everything is bad, but it's those guys' fault over there. We talk on this channel what is going on. I'm not going to sit here and give you a blow by blow of whose fault I think everything is. I think government is behind most of it, much of the time. And that's people on both sides of the aisle in the United States and every political party around the world, generally speaking, has their own problems out there. So when we talk about the one party in China, this is a pretty big deal, folks. So what's happening in China? It's kind of complicated and it's kind of mixed messages. It's almost like a sandwich. Southern China is having a serious drought and heat wave. And then the middle of China is getting pounded by way too much rain. And then on top of it, northern China is getting pounded by extreme temperatures and a drought up there as well. So now in China, wheat is in the upper northern territories more. In the center, they do a lot of rice and they also grow corn as well. And then in the south, they do a lot of wheat as well as rice and corn. I think maybe the corn's not so much down in the south. But all this to say that we have these bands that are being affected differently. The drought obviously is bad, but honestly, the flooding and the rain that's hitting the center of the country is actually truly devastating as well. Back in May, they had
So the Lord is plaguing all different parts of the earth with floods. I forgot I had pulled up some scriptures. Okay, in 2021, there were 223 flood disasters recorded worldwide. Let's look at this year. In 2023, as of June, there have been 9 confirmed weather climate disaster events with losses exceeding 1 billion each to the effect the United States. These events include 1 flooding event, 7 severe storm events, and 1 winter event. Okay, so 9 so far. It's only been 6 months. And this is what is it, an average of 8 per year. It said last year was 18 events, 474 deaths. So in the last 3 years, it was 1,460 deaths. All right, so the Lord is bringing
heavy rain in the center of China, and it caused the heads of the wheat to blacken, making it unfit for human consumption. They're saying, and this is actually what the quote was from, was they were saying, local officials were saying, worst disruption in the wheat harvest in decades. Big deal, folks. So how much rice and wheat and corn does China put out? I want to give you some sense of scale of how big of a producer they are in these fields. First off, with wheat, they produce 136 million tons of wheat per year, or at least they did last year. This year, it's looking like that's going to be slipping quite a bit. They're number 1 in the world. India is number 2. So 136 million tons. India, number 2, is at 105 million tons. 105. That's a pretty big jump down. In the United States, we produce a lot of wheat, don't we? 48 million tons. We barely make, we don't even make half as much wheat as China does on a good year. And yet we're seeing their crops being devastated. Are the U.S. wheat crops being devastated this year? Yes, they are. They've been absolutely devastated, especially in the Kansas region.
So, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa got BRICS Bank. And Brazil, India, and China are the 3 top rice producers. Oh, man. The book Isaiah, chapter 36, not, oh, man, like something's wrong, but, oh, man, Esau, you finished. Isaiah 36, verse 6, because that is something wrong. Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh king of Egypt to all that trust in him. All right, so you see how Sleepy Creepy got you looking, all right? See how he got you looking bad. Got you looking bad. All right, the book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 1. When thou wilt do good, know to who thou doest it, so shalt thou be thankful for thy benefits. All right, so you think it's good to vote for this person, you think it's good to do what this other person asks you to do, but it's not. You benefit them, there's no benefit to you. All right, verse 2, do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense. And if not from him, yet from the Most High. Why? Because it's a godly man. So Yahweh Shem Yahushua will either put it on that man's spirit to bless you, or someone else's spirit to bless you. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms. And Esau, Edom is always occupied in evil, and they give no alms. America is always occupied in evil, and they give no alms. America gives aid, okay? Debt-based currency. That's not alms. So it's no good that's going to come to Esau. Edom is no good that's going to come to America. All right. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10, I believe. Triple check. Yeah, the book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people. All right, so they're not instructing the people on what to breathe or what to eat. Can you breathe the air? Can you not breathe the air? Do I need the filter? Do I not need the filter? Should I put on the mask? Do I not put on the mask? Now they don't want to tell nobody. Now they don't want to instruct the people. Right? Before, when it was COVID, they were so wise. But now when it's the bush, the burning the forest. Now when it's the forest fire, and Smokey Bear told everybody only you could prevent the forest. Now that it's the forest fire, only you could prevent the forest fire. Or can you? Yeah, how about some hours shot sanction the forest fire? All right. So that's why Psalms 82 reads, arise, gods, and judge the earth. All right. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10, verse 1, a wise judge will instruct his people. All right. And the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. All right. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. All right. So these people are being destroyed. All right. The kings are unwise. The governors are unwise. Verse 4, Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time He will set over it one that is profitable. So this isn't the time for the rulership of this earth to be unprofitable. All right, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. All right, but in the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10, verse 4. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Job 9 and 24. Sirach chapter 10 and 4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord. Alright, so the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, but the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord. And in due time he will set it over. He will set over it one that is profitable. Shalom.